This is Marketing Uncomplicated. Welcome back to Uncomplicated, the podcast where we strip away the noise and talk about what actually works in business, branding, and building something meaningful. Today's episode is special because we're talking about something that brings people together in the most human way possible, food, but they're also friends of mine from high school. But this isn't just about burgers. It's about starting underground. It's about storytelling. It's about the building community before building scale. And it's about how something as simple as a burger can become an award-winning project. Kinda and her partner, Sultan, started with an underground supper called Tanos at 8, intimate, creative dining experience rooted in storytelling and connection. And from that, they evolved into 11 Green, now an award-winning burger destination built around simplicity, sustainability, and what they call the perfect burger. So today we're going to back into the beginning because I want to understand, how does a supper club turn into a burger brand? Why does your branding have format, even meaning in food? And what is the secret ingredient? Kinda and Sultan, welcome to the show. It's great to have you guys.
Hi, Sasha. It's great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so let's go back to the root of it all. So talk to me a little bit about Tanos at 8, and tell me how that started, and what really was the pushing drive for you to do something like that.
So look, I think the way it all happened was, in essence, it started with passion. Kinda loves to bake. She's a self-taught pastry chef, if you want to call it that. And I love to cook since I was in high school. I not during our days in Jeddah.
I know. I was like, where was that?
Yeah, you missed that.
Everyone was known for their mother's great cooking, but I didn't know any of our friends that cooked.
Exactly. So I went to boarding school in Massachusetts. I missed my mom's food, so I would, get on the phone and start, getting all these recipes and getting into food. And I loved, the act of cooking and the act of serving people and watching them enjoy my creations, right? That for me was a turning point in my story with food. Kinda kind of the same thing, since she was, I think your aunt was the one that got you.
So we both have like this passion for food, and we always we love to cook for other people, and I think that's one of the things that really keep us going, is sharing it with everybody. And I think Tano started because I wanted to go back into the corporate world. We have 3 kids, and I took some time off at that point, and I was trying to get a job, and I wasn't able to get back into work, and it was really frustrating for me. And I think one day I came home and I was really upset. I had done a final round of an interview and I didn't end up getting the job. And I was, really sad. And Sultan came home from work and he was like, "Why are you sad?" I'm like, "I didn't get the job. This is really difficult. I'm never going to do anything with my life." And he was like, "But look at me. I'm in corporate, and I hate being, attached to my desk and in this gray office." He's like, "You're free. Do something you love. Do something you're passionate about." He's like, "You love to bake. I like to cook, and I'm like, "Yeah, what can we do? Like, we don't have the money right now to start a restaurant." And I mean, it's such a big thing. Like, we don't know anything about the restaurant industry. We don't know anything about the business side of things. So that was quite daunting just to think about that, taking such a big step. And there were a couple of supper clubs already happening in Dubai, very little, I think around 2. And we were just, going through the website, and I was like, what if we started a supper club? I mean, this is, you love to cook, I love to bake. Like, why is this so difficult? I think we could do something amazing. So I went on his Instagram without him knowing, and I wrote, a story saying, my name's Sultan. I bring the salty. My wife brings the sweet. We're starting a supper club this weekend. Who's in? We've got 8 spots. And then he
didn't even know that it was. He didn't even know that it was.
No, I posted it, and then we went to sleep. And then the next day he woke up and he's like, "What did you do? What happened? Who posted this?" And I said, "Oh, I did it last night." And he's like, "Well, 8 people on my story said that they want to join, and it was my sister and her husband, his friend who was bringing a blind date, and a couple that were our friends." So I was like, you know what, it's a circle that we know. It's people we know. He's like, "We don't have a menu." I said, "Okay." So we brainstormed the menu. We committed to a date, and it was like in 3 days. And we just came up with a very basic menu. I went out and got some extra plates and napkins, and we ran the first supper club, and people, I mean, they liked it. They took photos, they posted about it, and it really gave us a space to connect together. And
Yeah.
it allowed us this, and we really experienced this joy of doing it together. It just gave us this container to be creative and to connect and to forget about all the stresses, in life. And we just had so much fun doing it that we wanted to do it again. And then that's how it started. So we just did it again, and it was again a group of friends that we knew, and then after that another group of friends that we knew, and then as it kept going and growing and evolving, we would have tables of people we've never met before, and then it
Wow.
started to get bigger, and there was word of mouth, and people were posting on
It
Instagram, and
was
it was
12,
this
12 people
12 people at a point,
at
and
a
then
In
time.
the
it was
end.
really exclusive, and then we
Yeah.
go from hosting once a week to 5-6 times a week. So that's how it really grew. In essence, it was a very organic growth, and it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
perfect to start with. It was a work in progress that just kept evolving and growing. So that's how it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
So you never really even thought about the idea of like starting a supper club. It just happened organically from this one particular post, and then it just spread like wildfire across into
Yeah,
people who you didn't even know.
yeah.
What did
Yeah.
those nights, what did they feel like for you
So
guys?
They felt magical.
it was
It
always,
was awesome
yeah,
Yeah.
because, I
there's
mean,
always this strange energy in the beginning, like this nervous
yeah,
sort of energy of, having strangers and,
In your
with
house.
in your
yeah,
house, and they have zero expectations. They don't know each other as well, right? So
Yeah.
not only they don't know us, they don't know each other, they don't know the food. It's all a very underground and like strange. But the crazy thing is, every single dinner, people come in as strangers and they leave as best friends. And we have a great time by the end of it. Like we're
Yeah.
sitting, we're talking, we're connecting with people over food and conversations. And it's just magical.
Yeah. I mean,
It,
I think that the type of people that come, and make the effort to come are in the same are in the same thought process as you
yeah,
guys. I mean, you're opening up your door, they're going to a stranger's house who they've never met before, sitting with a bunch of people that they've also never met. So they're in the same mindset as you are
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
to really be open to have that experience. And then especially in a country like, the Middle East or Dubai, where that's not necessarily done. I mean, you
yeah,
really just hang out with people who you know and friends of friends and so on. And that experience of going somewhere without knowing somebody is very new to them.
yeah. Yeah. It was new. It was underground. It wasn't legal as well. So
Yes. Oh,
there's
so there was a legality standpoint
Yeah, I mean,
too.
it's a gray area because there's no license that exists
Got it.
at the time. I don't know where it's at now, but there was no way, right? But it was
So it's like
understood.
what we call here in terms of zoning, right? So you're creating like a space in your house that maybe is not zoned for a
Yeah,
restaurant, so on.
yeah,
There's a transaction that's happening from a
yeah,
financial standpoint. So
exactly.
understood. Yeah.
But the whole point is it is an underground dining experience, right? So it's meant to be that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Were you guys ever caught?
No, I think we got a warning.
We have
Oh,
we have we have a crazy neighbor.
Yeah,
yes.
So there's a story. There's a story there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
tell me, 5,000 foot view. I want to hear about this crazy neighbor.
Well, one day I was, in the kitchen, I'm cooking, and we have these guests outside, and they were very prominent people in society from very connected families, and like it was a really nice supper club. Kinda was outside, and there's light music. It's in the garden. Our neighbors next door, and all of a sudden, Kinda runs into the house, into the kitchen, and she starts screaming. She's like, the neighbor broke into the house, went to the dining
to the dining
to
space.
the
Yeah,
dining space, and started yelling at Kinda and the guests, saying that this is an illegal restaurant and he's going to call the police. And and he went crazy.
Yeah.
And he broke and entered, like he just opened the
Yeah.
door and
Yeah.
walked in and started yelling. I was like in shock. Obviously, I'm trying to cook, so there's food on. I had to run out. Went to his. anyways, back and forth.
We try.
The police came, and we explained to them that, we host people, we cook.
Yeah.
It's not an illegal restaurant. These are our guests, basically.
Yeah.
And this went on for months. Okay, whereby he'd call the police, we'd call him. Like, it was a back and forth thing,
Battle.
battle. Which was towards the end of our
Yeah.
supper club. So
Yeah.
we were kind of winding down at that point,
Yeah.
and all of that. But we had that issue with him. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how did he even get wind that it was a potential restaurant? I mean, was your Instagram public? Did you guys start an Instagram?
The
I mean,
Instagram
Well,
was public, but his window actually overlooks our
but he
garden.
didn't think that they were just guests?
Well, when he came in and started yelling at me, he's like, "How do you know so many people?" That was that was the yeah, that
Oh,
was
because you
the
think
haram.
about it, I mean, there's like
Maybe
four.
he was sad that he didn't have the same amount of friends that were
no.
coming in,
Yeah.
or he never
We
got
tried to
invited.
deal with it amicably. I've sent over so many cakes to his house. We tried
Yeah,
to. He just didn't like the idea that we had so many people coming through.
I see.
The music wasn't loud. We were very mindful. It wasn't a party. It was just it was a dinner.
Yeah,
So I just don't think he was comfortable with the idea.
funny.
Yeah, I
So
mean, there was like
interesting.
40 to 50 people a week that
Yeah.
would come through our doors,
Yeah.
right? Four dinners a week at times, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, stuff like that similarly happens here. I know somebody that had a little grocery store that she converted her garage into the grocery store, but her neighbors were all happy and they were rooting for them, but it was another farm that shut her down. So I mean, it was competition now all of a sudden. But yeah, people are it's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah, that's crazy that he ran. I'm sure you guys had a laugh about it and it was one of the best dinners you guys probably had.
Yeah, yeah, the people had a great time, and they came back, and yeah, it was. There's a lot of stories like that. I mean, it was
Yeah.
4 years of running a supper club with a menu that we
Yeah.
change every 5 to 6 weeks. We change the menu. Again, Mediterranean cuisine. She does all the desserts. She does a lot of the hosting and the
Yeah.
storytelling, and I'll be in the kitchen cooking most of the time.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So then you guys winded down. Let me ask you one last question about Tanos. Why the name Tanos at 8 and what does Tanos mean?
Okay, so I will let Sultan explain that to you, but I just wanted to say that when we came up with the name, so many times we looked at each other and we were like, we need to change this name. Like, this name is like, we need a better name. Like, we need something cooler. But the thing is, it doesn't just stop at a name. Like, it shouldn't be an obstacle to do anything, because I know a lot
Yeah.
of people that want to start a business or start something, they often get stuck with the name. Like, what is the name? Sometimes you just have to you just have to go. And then it just kind of, I don't know.
Flows.
It just grows. Yeah, exactly. But he'll tell you the meaning. Go ahead.
I mean, my nickname as a kid was Tano because my mother used to, love this Spanish flamenco dancer in Spain. His name is Tano, and he was like a very famous. I don't dance flamenco or any of that, right?
Yeah.
But
I was
so
about to
she,
ask, was that part of the performance at
no,
dinners?
no, there's no. So Sultan Tano, that was it, and
I love how she had a little crush on a
Yeah.
on
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
flamenco
yeah.
dancer. How sweet.
Exactly, and it was Tano sat eight first because we had 8 people. Then it
Yeah.
became 12 people. Then we said Tano's at 8 because it was 8 p.m.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
then that didn't work because the kids wouldn't sleep till about 8:15. So
so
the supper club actually started at 8:30. So then the name
Yeah.
just it
the name
didn't it
stuck.
did just yeah. So we just kept it and just
Kept it
rolled with
in.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. That's super cute. So, winding down, where did you guys, because I know that you guys started to do the burgers, but I don't know the connection between winding down from Tanos and then you guys started to have events with burgers and so on. So, talk to me a little bit about that transition in between and really why or how did burgers come about?
So in May of 2022, there was a April May. It was Ramadan. We don't do the supper club in Ramadan because we're just kind of slowed down and fasting and doing things right. We just like to slow down. So there's no supper clubs. There's a burger competition announced. Who makes the best burger in Dubai? I look at Kinda, I'm like, I want to enter this competition. She's like, Sultan, burgers is not your thing,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
laughing because I mean
But
he
why?
cooks because he cooks Mediterranean cuisine,
I
you know.
see. Okay.
Like
Burgers is
it's
like
not what I
you
do
have
in the
to
supper
really
club.
be into exactly like
Okay. Okay.
meats
and
and
and all the the guys who are going in, guys and girls, are all like barbecue,
yeah.
smoking meat, making burgers. Like that's their thing.
Yeah.
They're pit masters in a way, right? That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
a lot of them. So it was, but for me, it wasn't about. I wasn't going in to win. I was going in to. I mean, obviously, I'd love to win, but I was going in to experience and learn and grow, and I just wanted to have fun. It was Ramadan. I wanted to do something. So, anyways, I go in this competition, 30 competitors, round after round after round. I keep evolving. I keep, you know, doing
Learning.
well and learning. And at the end, I find myself in the finals, and it's me and two other guys, and I'm like, this is crazy, and
Yeah.
I win the whole thing, with the bull burger, which is one of the burgers that's on our menu, and it's the same burger that I ended up competing with in the US. So what this competition did, it gave me a ticket to go and compete in the World Food Championship in Dallas, Texas in
Okay.
November of 2022. Okay? So I won. I'm going to go to Texas in a few months to compete in this thing. I'm, a senior executive in
You
a
still have your job at this point.
still have my job, senior executive, Fortune 500 company, chief commercial officer. All of a sudden, I'm, running a supper club for 4 years, making burgers, and now going to Texas. I have to tell my boss, that I'm going to take a
Did
week
they
off.
know about the supper club leading up or?
Like,
Like club.
yeah, you've seen the movie Fight Club.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like this thing that happens after, but nobody talks about it
Talks
in the
about it.
office.
Yes.
It's like one of those things, and everybody looks at me and I look at them. Some of them come to my dinners, but we just don't talk about it in the
At
office.
work.
So,
So you go to
but
Texas.
everybody knows, and yeah, we go to Texas. We go together, for a week. Again, there are 30 competitors. They're winners of different states. So each of these guys have won like respective competitions in their states. There's 5 countries represented: the UAE, which was us, and there was France, Switzerland, Japan, and Canada being represented, and then the rest are from the US. Again, zero expectations. It's her and I were,
I mean, really, like we land in Dallas and we don't know anything about Dallas. It's the first time we go, and we're at a disadvantage compared to the other contestants that have been there for a while. I mean, I think the competition was the next day, and the minute we land, we drive to a ranch because we're trying to
Yeah.
find meat. So we
Yeah.
have to get specific cuts of meat, find somebody to grind it for us, prepare our products, go get the cheese, go get
All in a
the
day.
items all in that day. So the minute we land, we go source everything. We find a butcher, and yeah, we get ready for the competition. I mean, I remember at some point in our hotel room, our whole hotel room smelled like pickle juice because everything was in the mini bar. We'd have this suitcase that we would lug with wheels to the competition and fill it with all the equipment. And yeah, it was
it was fun. It was fun.
What was the main takeaway from that competition in particular? I mean, where did you guys stack up? Did you come in top 10? Did you come in
So we
top
came in top.
5?
Great question. So we came in top 10 in the first couple of rounds, and then the top 10 go to compete, for another round. And in the top 10, we landed third. So we came third in the competition, two guys above us. So the top 3 were with medals, and there was a thing. So again, wasn't the expectation. We were just going in. Like if we made top 10, we would have been happy. It was more for the experience.
yeah,
But I think the same philosophy that we use in our food in our supper
yeah,
club, which is simple is king, and just use simple ingredients. Don't overcomplicate things, and just cook with passion and enjoy it, and that's what happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to enjoy the process. I
yeah.
think when the goal is to experience, you always win. And I've
Yeah.
heard that before many times. And I think that we get so attached to an outcome sometimes that we try to force things, that we try to get somewhere, but there's
Yeah.
really no getting somewhere. It's really about the person you become along the way, it's about the journey. So through that process, you grow and you become the person or the container that's going to hold whatever is meant to unfold for you.
Yeah.
So for us, we really experienced that through the supper club. If you told us 5 years ago that we would have a burger restaurant today, I think we both would have laughed. We
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
no clue that this was the turn or this was the direction that we were going to take. We were just doing what we love, doing it every single day. It took a lot of, I think, grit. It took a lot of resilience. It took a lot of stamina because, yes, passion will get you places for sure, but at some point you have to have the stamina to carry it through because it's a yeah
Tough.
it's a
Yeah.
it's
It's a
tough.
tough
Yeah,
It's
ride.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love you couldn't have said it more beautifully in the sense of starting anything if you have really the enjoyment and the passion to keep moving forward, it's what's going to keep you going forward. And it's like, as silly as it sounds, like the universe is going to have your back. It's going to
yeah,
support you. It's going to flow. You're going to be in that flow state to
yes,
continue to move, and
yeah.
things are going to happen for you because you're in the right place at the right time in your life, right?
100%, the universe will arrange itself to meet you
Yep.
where you are. It will provide opportunities, it will provide
Yes.
people. And I always say that, right? Like it's
And it
not
will show
just
up randomly,
it'll show up
and you're not
randomly.
having to force it.
No. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
people will come along the way. You'll have mentors. One conversation with one person might open a door to somewhere else. You have to keep going and following those threads. But if you're not there on the forefront working for it every
Yeah.
single day, you
Yeah.
won't catch these opportunities. So you have to be in motion. You have to keep moving. And sometimes it's messy and sometimes it's not perfect. And sometimes you question what the hell is going on? What are we doing? We're tired. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. But
Yeah.
you find your way, and through that, really, that's where the magic happens, when you don't
Yeah.
give up, when you keep
Yeah.
going.
And
So
it's consistency. I don't watch American football, but I love all of the quotes that come out of some of the players. Deion Sanders is one of the oldest ones, and he's got some great quotes and just what he's pushed to accomplish post his retirement. But then even Tom Brady talks about how he wasn't the best, but
Yeah.
his
yeah,
consistency and how he showed up every day made him the best. And I think that
Exactly.
it's not that you have to, not anyone who has a talent is going to succeed. It's those that put in the work, as you're saying, and showing up every day,
Determination. Yeah.
because there is that point in time where you could get sidetracked by a friend, a family, a member saying, "What are you doing? You're crazy." And you
yeah,
could go back
yeah,
home and think, maybe I am crazy, and step off that brick road, right?
That's it.
And it can sway you in any different direction. You don't know how or when it's going to do that. So it's really being headstrong. Or I'm going to ask you about, the naming of your burgers, but it's like being that bull, right?
Yeah.
To just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So at what point in time did you're doing all these competitions, you went into it for the fun of it, but when did you decide, like, we really have something here? I mean, you guys obviously knew you had something with the supper club because it was organic, it was happening, it was growing, but you maybe wanted to wind down because it was a lot to take on, the crazy neighbor, there was a bunch of things happening, and then all of a sudden now the burger has showed up on your plate. So where do
Yeah.
we go from here?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny how the universe works because we were talking about it and how it all kind of comes together. I mean, I was in a corporate, role. I was unhappy for a while. Even, I mean, the supper club happened. It gave me this life. It gave Kinda also, who had been out of work, something to do and enjoy. But what happened was in 2019, not only did I not like my job, but also I got a boss, a recent boss who moved into the
horrible
region,
boss.
who was a horrible boss.
Yeah.
Borderline rude. Just we didn't
No
connect, no
chemistry.
chemistry. So it just kind of like was the last straw in a way in terms of, you know, I just, this is not sustainable. I'm not going to stay here.
I'm not happy in life.
I'm
Yeah.
not happy. So, my options were, okay, move to another role in the same company. I was looking at options,
Get another job.
get another jump in another company. And I had two offers that came my way at that same time. And then the third option, door number three, okay,
Yeah.
which is, just jump and do what you love, which
Yeah.
is into the world of food. Now
And
the burger thing
Yeah.
is now the thing that was, kind of taking me and like pulling me, like the universe was just taking me there.
Yeah.
Was also operationally would be the easiest to start, because if we were to
yeah.
open like a Mediterranean fine dining restaurant or
Yeah.
something, there's so much complexity there.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
a small menu, something that I can control, and it's a good
Cost
stepping stone
effective.
into the world of F&B, right? Would be this is what I was thinking, and I had gone through the Hoffman process right before, which is, if you've heard of the Hoffman process.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course I have.
Okay, so I'd gone through that. Kinda followed. She also went. So I was going through this
Love
self,
that.
discovery,
Transformation.
transformation,
Yeah.
all of this at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And and that's the point where, in after coming back from Dallas, uh, I made the decision that I'm gonna resign
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do this, and I can see it happening, and I could visualize it, and
Yeah.
and everybody around me at that time, family, etc., who in the past would have said, "You're crazy. How can you do this? You have kids." That our backgrounds, our families,
Society.
Yeah.
society, right? At
Yeah.
that point, nobody can even say anything. No, everyone was like, "You have to do this."
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And the thing is, it's just funny how the universe works, because I remember he got a job offer to work in another company. So that was another route he could have taken. That was another
Yeah.
option.
Something
great,
And
was
great,
dangling
great
over
company.
it
here.
was dangling a carrot. And I'm looking at this
Yeah.
offer. I was
Great
like,
company.
I would kill for an offer like this. This is
with
amazing.
with a, with a
This is
sign
an
with a
amazing offer.
sign on bonus
Yeah.
as well, like
And I was
Yeah.
like,
everything.
Sultan, are you
It's like
sure?
the universe just gave you a cake with I don't know what on
Yeah.
it and
Yeah,
everything in between.
like, how much do you want this,
Yeah.
like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Wow, how incredible.
And yeah, so in January of 2023, I was sitting in, I still remember, I was sitting in Urfari Brothers, Urfari
Yes.
restaurant, Muhammad Urfari, who's a friend as well. I was sitting in his restaurant having lunch with a cousin of mine, and I wrote that email and sent it from there. And my last day was February 23rd, 2023.
Yeah.
And 11 Green opened its doors for friends and family for 2 days, 29th of April
Yeah.
So
2023.
2 months later.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
his resignation letter also quoted the Robert Frost poem, "The Road Less
Which,
Traveled."
yes. What
Yeah,
did
the
you
road
quote
less
from it?
traveled. The end about two roads diverged in wood, and
Yes, yes.
yeah, and
Did
then
you
at the
get a
bottom he said,
response?
no, and then at the bottom he said something. So maybe I did decide to flip burgers for the rest of my life. Wishing you all well, Sultan. So that's actually hanging in our restaurant right now. At
Oh
the
Yeah.
my gosh,
entrance,
I
we
love
have his
it.
resignation letter
The
Very
actual
good.
framed
Yeah.
letter?
and hung up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But the name of the
That's
company is
amazing.
blacked
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For security purposes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an incredible story. So, okay, so let's talk. Now we're at 11 Green. I mean, I love this sequential path like leading up to this. So you open up your first restaurant, you guys open up for friends and family. What makes 11 Green so different? Because it's not even just friends and family members that I know that have visited and have had your burgers, but you you have some great influencers in Dubai that crack me up when there's this one Emirati guy that keeps coming to your store and just is obsessed with with your burgers, and I love him for it. But
Yeah.
it's just that you guys are getting such exceptional um feedback for everything, and let's actually talk about that feedback, because I'm sure that's what's helped you maybe build out the different style of burgers throughout time.
Yeah. Look, I think, yes, it's great, the support and the feedback, and But also, what I think a lot of people don't see is that there's a lot of criticism, and there's a lot of um, you know let's say customer what you create isn't for everybody.
Sure.
This is one of the lessons I think that we've
Yeah.
learned along the way,
Yeah.
is that you just have to um, you know continue with the same approach and philosophy, and be determined, because and accept the fact that
You
this is
can't please
you can't
everybody.
please everybody.
And I said this recently, actually, and this was difficult for Sultan and I because we ran a supper club. Like for us, it was very emotional because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
cooking in your home and you're sharing with people coming through
For
what
sure.
you love to put out. So you want people to enjoy it. I mean, the ultimate goal is to make sure everybody does love it, right? But then when you're in a full scale restaurant, it's a lot different. And I think we had to grow thick skin at the beginning because I remember when the reviews came in, and if there was somebody that absolutely hated what we had to put out, we would just we would get really like shocked. We'd get upset. It would shake
Yeah.
us. But the thing is, for every handful of people that don't like what you're doing, there's so many people that do. You just have to stay focused and keep going and constantly put out what you believe is best, and you stay authentic to that, you stay true to that, and you stay consistent with that the best you can, and you keep working on that and putting out the quality, and you just keep going.
But
So you can't.
I think
Yeah.
one of the things that happened accidentally, that drove so much sort of traction and marketing and traffic towards us in the beginning,
Was
was the
your
fact that
community.
no was the fact that I, I wanted to keep everything fresh.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we would grind the meat fresh for the day,
Yeah.
and when the meat
Non-frozen, you
when
mean?
we don't freeze
Yeah.
any meat
Yeah.
like other places, we keep everything fresh. When we run out of beef,
We sell out.
we sell out. And I wanted to do it this way, and I
As in
kept it
like
like
doors
that.
are closed, even if the restaurant
Yeah.
hasn't shut down,
Yeah,
you just
And
sold out.
people
Okay.
couldn't understand
exactly,
that.
even until today, and people couldn't
Ah,
understand that.
where's my
They'd come,
burger?
they'd come and they'd wait in line and everything, and then they'd get to the front of the line and like, oh, we sold out. You can have French fries and a lemonade. And there's
Yeah.
no burgers, and at the time we didn't even have chicken. But I tested the beef the second day and the third day. It's not the same. You know,
Yeah.
uh, with oxidation, the beef gets drier, the color changes, the flavor. So, and until today, I have daily groups with my teams, and we do forecasting on how much meat per branch, and we keep everything so tight that it's just right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that drove people, in a market
Upset.
like here,
It
upset
it
because you
Yeah.
can't say no to
Where they're
people.
used to having everything at their fingertips.
Exactly. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like a sellout strategy that we didn't really know we were doing. And it
Yeah.
was marketing in essence, because everybody was wondering, why is this place always selling out? Oh, we have to
But
go get a burger.
we
But we
weren't
weren't
doing
we
it.
weren't intentionally doing that. We were
Yeah.
genuinely trying to control our operations, trying to make sure that
The
every burger that
quality.
went out, quality wise was in check, and that every burger was ground fresh for the day.
Yeah.
We were still just monitoring our supply and demand and trying to manage that. So we were selling out because we hadn't figured out what that number was per day that we would need to procure just to make sure
Right.
that we have enough for everybody. So that really created a lot of momentum. That really created a lot of hype. That really brought a lot of people through our doors to experience this sellout burger.
But
Yeah.
that's
But
also what people forget, is that we built a name for ourselves through the 4 or 5
yeah,
years of the supper club, of Tano's at 8,
yeah.
leading to the competitions, and all of that is what, like, we didn't start from scratch
Yeah,
basically.
you can't discount the fact that we did have a community beforehand, and
Yeah,
we
and
did
you built up your, as they say in marketing, your top of the funnel. You built up
you
your awareness
Yeah.
in terms of
you
who you
built up
guys
your
are.
awareness people knew who we were. They trusted us. We have a reputation that we've worked really hard for. We have that credibility. So that's the stuff that people don't see. So that's why we
Yeah.
always say it's not an overnight success. It was built on every single person that came through our door in the supper club, every conversation we had, every intimate experience we shared. Even we had a Spinneys, which is one of the big supermarkets here, come
Supermarkets, yeah.
and do a supper club here and then feature us in their magazine. So we were part of the community. We had put our supper club on the map in terms of, being a known, well-renowned spot for underground dining experiences through hard work.
Do you guys source your meat in from Dubai or local farmers?
It's Australian, so it's Australian
Okay.
beef.
Okay.
Our vegetables and our bread, everything is sourced locally, actually, except for the beef. The beef is the
Okay.
only thing. Um,
How did you guys land on that particular type of beef? Because I love when you said that you obviously did the research before you went to Texas, right? You know which ranch you needed to go to or who you wanted to go to,
yeah.
and you evaluated. So why Australia?
Well, I mean, in the US, we used US beef. Australian and US beef, I like them because with the grain fed Angus and also Wagyu, which is I use a blend of Wagyu and Angus. I feel like you get the perfect blend of beef flavor and at the same time marbling. So the marbling is very important. Marbling is, I wouldn't say it is, a percentage of fat that's kind of embedded in the beef itself that gives that extra kind of flavor, umami flavor, beefy flavor,
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
that, right? So for me, that those tend to do that more. Grass-fed beef is great too, as well. It's obviously there's a lot of good health related things with the grass-fed beef, but the ones that we get in this part of the world have a little bit of a gamey flavor for me personally.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, um,
Interesting.
so that's our philosophy, I guess, when it comes to the burgers. Is we want to create burgers that we love to eat, because the moment I start creating for what I think other people
Yeah.
might want to eat is when I lose the authenticity of what I'm serving to the people. It has to be coming from me. Like, what do we, the supper club was all based on things that we love to travel and eat
Yeah.
and try and experience. And we recreate those things here in a way. And the same thing for burgers. What would I like to have? Or Kinda, right?
Yeah.
Experience, yeah.
And experience, because we believe that if we love those things, we want to share it with the people that are around us in our community, and every single item on the menu is based on that philosophy. I don't go and just put a truffle burger with caviar um, and parmigiano reggiano or whatever just because it's trending. I,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not the kind who does those things, or put lotus biscuit on a burger because, or blueberry. No, no, because these things have
Yeah.
been done. And
Yeah.
I'm saying
You,
things that have been done in
yeah, you
Dubai.
have crazy stuff out there like that.
Crazy
Yeah.
stuff. And
Hmm.
yes, it gets likes and clicks and all of that, but it's not
It's a
authentic to me.
fad. It doesn't
Yes.
continue that longevity or if its lifespan because it's just kind of jumping on the wave of how things are
Yes.
moving. It,
Yeah.
it's funny because there was I used to go to Chicago a lot, and there was a I think it was called Kumori or something, but they were a burger place born by heavy metal lovers, right? Their burger was crazy amazing, but I like being there. They played hardcore heavy metal music, but that's who they were and that's who they wanted, and it made it so much more authentic that I kept going back every time I went to Chicago, even though I couldn't stand the music. But the burger was just phenomenal, right?
Oh, really?
And people came from all walks of life, and I love that you say that you stick to your authenticity, which is what they did. And you
Yeah.
had a grandmother and a grandfather sitting at the bar with this crazy music going on in the background, but they stuck true to who they were from their core.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, no,
think
it was really
people
cool. I think they shut down during COVID, but it was one of the
Okay.
best burgers in Chicago.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
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 I think it's important to be authentic. I mean, like you said, you kept going back because people connect to that. You know, they
yeah,
want to connect to that, so they appreciate that. So it creates a bond. It creates customer loyalty. It creates something
yeah.
when somebody can really sense that there's something coming from a creative, authentic
Yeah.
space.
I mean, at one point I went with earplugs, I'm not going to lie, but I needed the burger. I needed my fix. So we broached a little bit on the marketing, and I love that, some of the best marketing, as I even tell a lot of my clients, is done through, it just sort of happens and it's authentic in and of itself, right? And I think what businesses tend to think of marketing, traditional marketing, we should say, in the sense of, oh, you need to run a Facebook campaign, you need to run Google AdWords and so on. I think there are certain foundations in marketing that you need to have in place, but really hitting home, as you're saying, it just kind of happened. You guys were doing a sellout, which was, you were sticking true to your authenticity, and that created this FOMO of, I want this burger because I don't know if I'm going to stand in line and they're going to tell me it's sold out and I'm not going to get it. So it's creating that, fear of missing out for somebody to come. But I guess talk to me a little bit about, how you continued that wave, and then, what you're doing today, if anything, for marketing, or if it's just, you really haven't had to. Like, some companies don't have to.
So we had to evolve, I think, and I think that this podcast actually comes at the perfect point because we've been running 11 Green now for almost 3 years. So at the beginning, it was riding this wave of, this is something new. It's great.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's the first in the market of its kind. It's selling out. Everybody's coming, and the business is still doing great. But I think at the beginning, when you first open, it skyrockets this way,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the business starts to plateau. So right now we are looking at ways to use marketing to activate the space, to try to keep the brand top of mind, to keep going, because Sultan said it best to me. He's like, when you first start or you open a place, there's everybody's clapping at the beginning, right? And there's balloons and everyone's cheering and everybody wants to try it and it's something new. And then there's this whole middle part that nobody really gets to see, where you're really starting to drive a ship, and it becomes this long race. It's not, this isn't something for the short term. And I think this is the time where we're starting to look at marketing to keep 11 Green top of mind, and trying to find ways that still is true to the brand to keep it
And
going.
keeps repeat business
Yeah,
on an
yeah.
ongoing basis.
Yeah,
I know.
and I, it happens a lot of times accidentally. I'll give you an example. So we were in this big event in Dubai called Soul DXB. It's for like art, culture.
Yeah.
They wanted, a special drop from 11 Green. I'm like, guys, with my PR team and Kinda, I'm like, I have this idea. I
Like,
want to
exclusive for that event.
for that event.
Yeah.
I want to create like a patty melt, which is like a toast with a burger or whatever. But I read this article that Zohran Mamdani loves this breakfast roll in New York City
Yeah.
that has jalapenos and cheese, and it's his favorite. And I really want to use those ingredients in this patty melt. And I want to call this patty melt. I want to call it the Mamdani.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
call it the Mamdani. My PR team is like, no, you can't do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? They're like, it's not. It's political. I'm like, what do you mean it's political? It's not political. The guy likes a sandwich, and I like what he said about this sandwich, and I want to recreate it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just call it for this drum. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we went back and forth. We asked Soul DXB. They came back. They said,
No
No.
problem.
no problem,
No problem.
no
Okay.
problem. You can call it the Mamdani. I'm like, okay. I got on the
I mean,
Virgin.
not to interrupt you, but you know that most companies sway one side or the other politically, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're in
Every
Dubai.
company in the US, like, even whether they're vocal about it or not, I mean, it's down to like Home Depot and, like,
Yeah,
Costco, and where they
really.
stand politically. So
Okay,
they,
okay,
they
okay.
were right in telling you that in a way, but
Yeah,
you're in Dubai.
yeah, in Dubai, exactly. And it's a
But
sandwich.
still, I mean, conservatives and and liberals still shop at same places. So
Yeah,
it doesn't,
e-
yeah.
exactly. So I got on this Virgin Radio and had the show, and talked about it, and then she introduced it and talked about it, and then all of a sudden the event was there, and the amount of people that came to, this was a few months ago, to 11 Green, to our stand, the lines, and everybody wants to have the mamdani, and it was a thing, and it was accidental. I mean,
Yeah.
I really
Was
wanted.
this during his race, like pre
Yeah,
winning?
it
Oh,
was. It
okay,
was
yeah,
not pre. I think he had won. He had just
He had
won. He
just
had just
won,
won, and people were coming to this our stand, and they were like, "Wow, the mom, very clever guys, very clever." And I'm like, it
and they
was.
liked it. They
They
loved it.
loved
Like, the
it.
mamdani is amazing. You need to put it on the
Yeah,
menu. You need to make it permanent.
yeah,
You need. So again, this is another way, I guess, of how. Um, yeah,
yeah.
we love.
And
I'm
something
here.
else
I'm
about
here.
marketing.
I
Yeah.
just had this little person disturb us, but yes, I'm
Oh,
here.
okay, okay. That's
Yeah,
why
we'll
I was
edit
wondering.
that portion out.
I just wanted to add something about marketing as well. So even when you start a business, I don't think there is a manual. I don't think there's a certain way to progress to start a business. I mean, we're working backwards, for example, with our packaging. When we first started, we didn't we didn't really invest much in the packaging for 11 Green. So the branding on the burger boxes, the paper for our trays, the fry cups, they're still craft boxes. And, we're going into year 3 now. And now is when we're really looking to revamp the packaging, because packaging is also an opportunity for marketing that we're
Yep.
probably missing out on. People come, they take a lot of photos. It needs to represent the brand. People need to connect with it. They need to have that experience when they're opening it. So now we're really starting to look at that, and we're really starting to fix that in the branding. But we never had that to start with. And a lot of brands we know in the burger industry or in the food industry get the packaging right from the get go.
Yeah.
So it's not a, I don't think it's a make or break for your brand. We have a really strong product, and now we're working backwards to kind of build that around the product.
And I
So
think that's okay. And I appreciate
yeah,
you guys saying that, because not all business is linear, right? And
yes,
yours definitely hasn't had a linear course. I mean, you guys have built in a beautiful way, a very organic, trajectory leading from, something that you guys started out of passion into, again, like stepping into the competition for the burger competition, which was just something of passion. And, maybe there was something really inside of you that was like, maybe I can really win this thing. Let me put myself to the test. Right. And that's
Mm.
probably like innate in your personality to want to test yourself continuously, and really now you're beginning to see, okay, we've built the success and we've built this amazing foundation. How now can we really
yeah,
build an amazing customer journey from somebody stepping into 11 Green, coming up to the register, just the greeting from your team, ordering, when the order gets delivered to them, opening their box, putting the first bite in their mouth. So it's like, what does that whole process now look
yeah,
like for you guys? And I don't think it needs to be developed in the beginning, because where you guys jumped off of, right?
Yeah,
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 And how you guys had that portion of success, now it's just going to drive it even further now that you're thinking about it. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. So talk to me, just a little bit about, scaling without losing soul, because I think when we think about a lot of companies that are born, and, you have this passion and you guys are like, we want to continue doing this, you're doing things. I think really realistically, you're continuing on that organic journey, even with the Mamdani, sandwich, the Mamdani burger, or melted patty, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Um, how do we not lose that, right? Because let's say fast forward, we're sitting here 5 years from now and having another conversation. You guys have 20 locations. Your locations have expanded into other, neighboring countries in the Gulf, and so on and so forth. How do you ensure that you want to maintain that touch? Because a lot of companies tend to lose that.
yeah.
It's a
It's
great
tricky.
question. How do you scale passion or soul, right? As you grow, I think what we've had this discussion several times, and ultimately, as we grow, having the right people do the things that you need them to do is very important, right? And having a good team will, my plan is to have that team so that I can focus on the things where I can add the the most value, which is for me on the creative side, right? When it comes to right now, we're working on an initiative of the burger of the month, right? So every month, 11 Green will have a burger that is a burger of the month that will keep that you know, passion and energy and soul kind of continue through 11 Green, and that'll be across all branches. Training people, growing people. So every person that comes through our doors in 11 Green comes from the bottom, right? We hire stewards in the kitchen and grow them to become chef de parties, right? Which is a pretty senior person in a kitchen. And you know, that growth and that passion that we see in those people also, you know, you create basically a network and community of passionate people, even though different backgrounds, different education, you know, sort of headsets and ways of thinking in the FMB industry, but it all kind of, that energy comes together in a way that translates it to people, and people feel that. But for us personally, how do we keep that engagement and joy in the business? By having people do the things that they're supposed to be doing, right? And you know, we end up focusing on what we want to focus on, essentially.
Yeah, and we're very hands-on as well, Sasha. I mean, we're always around. We're always on top of the business. We're always, you know, keeping an eye on it. We go visit the different branches. Sultan is always there. You have to stay on top of it. The minute you take your energy out of it, and the minute you take a back seat, I think that's when, you know, you leave room for things to go wrong. And nobody's gonna care as much as you. So as much as we can foster that community within 11 Green and build a culture with everybody working there, it's yeah.
No, that's amazing.
I'm trying to think of examples of others that have grown, that have kind of, you know, kept that sort of soul and creativity. And I mean, I don't know, maybe In and Out, maybe to some extent, have done a decent job with the growth. They've kept it close, tight.
Yes. They kept it. They also kept it a private business, so family owned.
Yes,
They
family owned.
didn't go public.
Yeah, and that you know, personal touch as much as possible. And I think that's what you got to do. You gotta stay involved and stay engaged, and not turn it into just another corporate
factory.
And sometimes you have to say no, you know, and that's also difficult. Sometimes you have to say no. You might have this incredible location, but it might not be, let's say, something that, you know, is in line with where you would see your brand, or somebody might come and want you to try something or do something different. But you have to say no. You have to know when to say no, I think.
I think one company that's coming to mind that's also in the food and beverage industry is a company called Le Pain Quotidien, which started in Belgium and then made its way over to the US. And being that they are a franchisee company, they really kept it tight knit even with the franchises. So, you know, just the whole, I met somebody that worked on they were responsible for location, for opening up the locations for the franchises. And they were very specific about the artifacts that were in the restaurant, the location that they opened, and so on and so forth. But they maintained that, because a lot of the times once you franchise out, it can get a little watered down. And I think Five Guys also was very, very stringent about it. But I think, you know, they've kind of plateaued in a way to date. But in the beginning, they kept it pretty tight.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. You guys, your story is just incredible. I've loved this entire conversation and the in-depth, you know, build out of, you know, where you guys started, how you grew, you know, how you're growing is just incredible. And I think it's so eye-opening, not just for anybody in the food and beverage industry, but in any industry, to really, you know, take away from a lot of this. So, you know, I really appreciate you guys digging into that. But before we let you go, we do something cool that's just a fire round shot. We ask you one word, one habit, and one myth. So whatever comes to mind, just let us know. So one word that defines 11 Green.
You go. Authentic. It's supposed to be we're supposed to be faster,
It's supposed to be faster, right?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, authentic. Did you have another word?
Yummy.
Okay.
I like it. I like it. One myth about opening a restaurant or building a food brand.
Um,
One
it's
myth.
not that hard.
Okay. Okay. So just
Just
go for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
One habit that has made you successful as a founder.
One habit. Um, I think quality control. Like so, the system that we've created in 11 Green around ensuring quality checks and sort of SOPs, we call them standard operating procedures,
Hmm.
in the kitchen, is very, I think, important for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Along
Mm.
with looking inwards, right? And becoming better people every day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. That is a good one. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about that too.
Yeah. Thank you guys. This has been truly amazing. I really appreciate the time and really thanks for sharing your story as always.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thanks,
Thank you
Sasha.
for your
Thanks for
time and
having
your
us.
energy and for listening.